Kevin Owens is reportedly dealing with a fractured rib injury and was written off WWE television last night on Raw because of it. Also, speaking of injuries, Liv Morgan once again has a shoulder injury, but it's the other shoulder to the shoulder that was previously injured. SmackDown delivers all-time record ratings last week for Friday's episode on FS1. An update on how SummerSlam tickets moved after the announcement of Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the biggest event of this summer. Logan Paul accepts Ricochet's SummerSlam challenge last night on Raw. Dominic Mysterio retains the NXT North American Championship against Sami Zayn on the red brand last night. Becky Lynch defeats Zoe Stark, meaning she's going to be facing Trish Stratus at SummerSlam. Rhea Ripley is set for action on NXT tonight on USA Network, and an update on future locations for WrestleMania and Royal Rumble events. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's start off talking about an injury bug that's hit WWE at the moment, particularly last night's edition of Monday Night Raw. Now, the hard knocks for undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion Kevin Owens during Monday Night's Raw are reportedly more than just a storyline. Owens was in the corner of his tag team partner Sami Zayn as Zayn challenged Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American Championship. We'll talk about that a bit later on. Now, various shenanigans eventually led to Owens being ejected from ringside by the referee. Moments later, though, Mysterio's Judgment Day cohorts Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest were also ordered backstage. However, all three reappeared at the end of the match to get to the finish. But later on in the show, Owens was seen backstage being tended to by medical personnel. It appeared to be nothing more than another chapter in the story, leading to a future tag team title defense for Owens and Zayn against some combination of the Judgment Day. However, there's reportedly a lot more at play here. Later on in the night, Fightful Sean Ross Sapp reported that Owens is legitimately injured. Sapp added that he didn't have any details on the severity of the injury or when Owens will be able to return to action at the time, but Dave Meltzer did provide a bit more of an update on the Wrestling Observer Radio. He revealed that Owens has been dealing with a real life fractured rib for quite some time, and WWE is planning to give the current champion some time to rest. Meltzer says, quote, "It's a fractured rib. He's actually been working on it for a while, and it was just one of those things where they were waiting for a time to finish up whatever they were finishing up, and what they were going to do. I don't know if they were always going to do this angle, but they were going to do something. He's going to get a rest. I don't know how long. I don't know what the status of the tag team titles are. I'm sure that'll probably be addressed in the next couple of days, but he's been working on a legitimate injury, so that's the basic gist of the story there." Of course, Owens and Zayn won the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships from the Usos in the main event of WrestleMania 39 Saturday back in April. He most recently wrestled on the July 17 edition of Raw when he and Zayn defended their titles against Priest and Dominic Mysterio. If we get any update on what really the severity of this fractured rib injury is, and if there's any possibility of Owens being out for longer than anticipated, of course we'll let you know in a future video. Speaking of injuries, Liv Morgan is also out with an injury. Liv Morgan was written off television on last night's Raw with a legitimate injury, seeing her taking time away from the ring. On the July 17 episode of Raw, Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez would lose the Women's Tag Team Championships to Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. It would be reported that Morgan had been seen with her arm in a sling after the show in a photo on her own social media. At that point, Morgan had just returned from a shoulder injury, which many in WWE believed would have kept her out of action for the rest of the summer. On the July 24 episode of Monday Night Raw, as can be seen on the broadcast, Judgment Day's Rhea Ripley attacked Liv Morgan, including and injuring her arm with a steel chair. It has now been reported that this was a way to write the former Women's Tag Team Champion off television. As reported on Wrestling Observer Radio, Morgan has a legitimate shoulder injury, but the belief is that it's actually the other shoulder, not the one she injured the first time around. Ripley would wish Morgan well in her own way, telling her to have fun in rehab. Of course, we wish her the best in her recovery, but again, Liv Morgan is out of action with another shoulder injury, but this time it's the other shoulder. What terrible luck Liv Morgan has had. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, SmackDown continues to dominate whatever network it's on, and despite not being on Fox, it's still bringing in all-time ratings for the network that it's on. The fan interest in WWE's critically acclaimed Bloodline saga isn't waning anytime soon. Last Friday's episode of SmackDown was viewed by an average of 1.23 million viewers on FS1, according to WrestleNomics, and thereby became the most watched episode of WWE's Blue Brand show on the Fox Sports cable channel ever. Although the show saw a significant drop in last week's viewership of 2.309 million viewers on Fox, the decline that always happens whenever they have to go onto FS1, this decline was expected due to the switch from network to cable television, meaning fewer homes had access to WWE's flagship Friday night program, which was preempted due to FS1 to accommodate the ongoing FIFA Women's World Cup 2023. For context and comparison, the last airing of SmackDown on FS1, which was on December 12, 2022, averaged 902,000 viewers, and the one prior to that on October 28, 2022, averaged 835,000 viewers. As such, Friday's show saw a significant bump from the previous two FS1 episodes, so much so that the 0.36 rating represented the best ever number in the 18 to 49 key demographic most valued by advertisers. Furthermore, Friday's show marked only the third instance of SmackDown drawing over 1 million viewers on FS1, following the episodes of October 29, 2021 and December 18, 2020, both of which garnered a little over 1 million views. Last week's SmackDown was much hyped due to the return of undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, who participated in a Rules of Engagement segment with his cousin Jey Uso ahead of their high-stakes match at SummerSlam. The segment ended with Reigns stopping Solo Sikoa from hitting Uso with a Samoan spike, inadvertently giving Uso an opening to superkick Sikoa out of the ring. The frantic scenes were followed by Uso and Reigns staring down each other intensely, with a worried Paul Heyman looking on from the corner. The segment also confirmed that Reigns would be putting both his historic title reign and his Tribal Chief status on the line against Jey Uso at SummerSlam, something he alluded to by placing his lie on top of his title bout while staring down his cousin. So once again, WWE right now certainly is a hot ticket, with SmackDown drawing absolutely incredible numbers. And it continues not only just on SmackDown, but also at SummerSlam too, because an update has emerged on ticket sales for WWE SummerSlam 2023, showing how the announcement of Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso has affected ticket sales. With Jey Uso previously issuing a challenge to Roman Reigns for his undisputed WWE Universal Championship, the two stars met on the July 21st edition of SmackDown to discuss the rules of engagement. During this segment, it was officially announced that Jey Uso will challenge for Reigns' title in a tribal combat match. Per Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, there has been a significant boost in ticket sales since this match was announced, revealing that WWE passed 45,000 tickets sold for the event after SmackDown. Meltzer says, quote, "The tickets have started to really pick up ever since Friday, which tells you Roman Reigns and Jey Uso making it official and everything like that led to a boost in ticket sales. So they have topped 45,000. They're moving pretty good. We're a couple of weeks away. I think they're going to get 50,000, maybe more. The product's super hot. The Roman Reigns Jey Uso angle is obviously exceedingly strong." And obviously, it's not just Jey Uso and Roman Reigns that's been added to the show. Several other big names and big bouts have been added to the show. But certainly, being headlined by this next chapter of the Bloodline Saga has really helped move tickets. And again, it just goes to show that right now, the Bloodline Saga drives everything when it comes to success in WWE at the moment. Speaking of SummerSlam, we're going to see Logan Paul in action on the show. Logan Paul and Ricochet are officially set to collide in a one-on-one match at SummerSlam. WWE announced the match following Monday night's episode of Raw, which featured the latest confrontation between the two opponents. Ricochet went out to the ring to call out Paul and challenge him to a match. Ricochet admitted that Paul is good, but he also called him arrogant and disrespectful. Eventually, Logan Paul emerged, but not from the backstage area. Instead, he snuck out through the crowd and struck Ricochet from behind. With his rival down, Paul took the opportunity to pull out his phone and record a video of himself accepting Ricochet's challenge. Unfortunately for the YouTube sensation, Paul had underestimated the resilience of Ricochet. He quickly recovered to strike back with a super kick that dropped Paul to the mat. Ricochet and Paul first collided, literally, in the men's Royal Rumble match back in January, with both men memorably got the same idea to springboard into the ring, leading to a spectacular mid-air collision. The two met again in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match earlier this month. This time, a high-risk maneuver by Ricochet led to both men crashing dangerously through a pair of tables set up on the arena floor. The moment led to Paul labeling Ricochet as unprofessional. The two men will now have the opportunity to settle their differences in the ring on Saturday, August 5th, when SummerSlam is held at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. So Logan Paul vs. Ricochet is now official for the show. Dominic Mysterio continues to successfully defend his NXT North American Championship. Dirty Dominic Mysterio is still the NXT North American Champion after defending the title on Monday Night Raw last night. Mysterio and the Judgment Day kicked off Raw in the ring with a mini celebration of Mysterio's title victory on last Tuesday's edition of NXT on the USA Network. They were interrupted by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who said Mysterio could do the best thing for the industry by shutting his mouth forever. Mysterio said he's a fighting champion and wouldn't be disrespected. Zayn said to earn respect, he should put his North American title on the line in a match against him. Rhea Ripley, interestingly, accepted on Mysterio's behalf. The match kicked off with Ripley and Damian Priest in Mysterio's corner and Owens in Zayn's. As the match went on, Ripley distracted the referee while Priest pushed Zayn off the top rope, but the referee kicked Owens out as he tried to explain what happened. Ripley and Priest were also ejected from ringside shortly thereafter. Mysterio kicked out of the Michinoku driver and a clothesline that sent him flying. Zayn flew off the top rope but was caught by a drop kick and kicked out of a pin by Mysterio. Mysterio set Zayn up for the 619, but Zayn got out of the ropes before Mysterio could hit it and hit a Blue Thunder bomb, but Mysterio kicked out. Mysterio connected with the 619 on his second attempt, but Zayn stayed alive. Mysterio then hit the three amigos but missed a frog splash. Zayn sent Mysterio into the corner, but when he looked up the ramp, the Judgment Day had laid out Owens, causing the distraction. Mysterio was able to roll up Zayn for the 3 count and retain his NXT North American Championship. Zayn ran up the ramp to check on his best friend as Dirty Dom gloated. So Dirty Dom still the NXT North American Champion. Becky Lynch has finally got what she wants, and that is a rematch against Trish Stratus at SummerSlam. 2 weeks ago, Zoe Stark stole a massive victory over Becky Lynch with the help of Trish Stratus. The pair went into Monday night's rematch with the stipulation that if Lynch lost again, she would have to tattoo "Thank you Trish" on her body. But Lynch won't be getting any ink anytime soon, as she defeated Stark on Raw. Lynch started off the match hot, with Stratus lingering on the outside. After a series of back and forth offense, Lynch went for the manhandle slam, which she turned into a disarmor after Stark countered. Stratus, who had gotten involved earlier in the contest, tried to do so again, but Lynch knocked her off the apron. Much as she's done before, Stark capitalized on the distraction and went for a roll-up, but this time Lynch kicked out. Lynch finally won with the manhandle slam on Stark for the pin, earning her rematch against Stratus in Detroit at SummerSlam on August 5th. Now, this did lead to a bit of a backstage issue between the two. In a clip released on social media by WWE, Trish Stratus was filmed in a heated moment backstage with Zoe Stark. To be fair, it seems like they are pantomiming speaking because there is no audible lines being made out in the exchange, but certainly it looks intense. Of course, Stark failed in her mission earlier on Raw to prevent Becky Lynch from getting a match with Trish Stratus at SummerSlam. Stratus seemed to be expressing her displeasure with the loss. Also of note, Trish wasn't wearing her face mask, seemingly indicating her nose is safe to compete in the upcoming anticipated SummerSlam match. So, is this a case of dissension in the ranks, or is this a case of the two being going to be split up in the future? We'll have to wait and see. One thing we do know is that Becky Lynch is set to face Trish Stratus at the biggest event of the summer. Let's talk about NXT tonight because Rhea Ripley, the Women's World Champion, will be competing on the show. Judgment Day continues to make its presence felt across brands, with WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley set for tonight's episode of NXT. The match for NXT on July 25th was revealed on social media following the July 24th episode of Monday Night Raw. In the footage that can be seen on social media, a Rhea Ripley interview was interrupted by NXT's Lyra Valkyria, who wanted to prove herself by showing what she could do firsthand. Challenging Ripley to a match on NXT, Valkyria gave up her match with JC Jane for a shot at the WWE Women's World Champion instead. Although it was taped at Raw last night, the segment didn't actually air live on TV and was only posted on social media. It was also revealed that tonight's episode of NXT would kick off with Ripley alongside the brand new NXT North American Champion Dirty Dominic Mysterio. So the Judgment Day is all over WWE television right now. Finally, a bit of an update when it comes to future locations for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, WrestleMania could be headed to a first-time location. Fightful Select are reporting that they have learned that Minneapolis, Minnesota has been heavily discussed within the company as a possible and even likely location for WrestleMania 41 in 2025. Minneapolis city planners had actually leaked this news to local media, but when Fightful asked WWE officials months ago, they confirmed that Minneapolis was one of several cities that had interest. There were reps on behalf of the city who are at SoFi Stadium for WrestleMania 39. Fightful have been told that the US Bank Stadium would be the location, as temperature and baseball season could prevent the possibility of Target Field. US Bank Stadium has a dome and seats well over 73,000 for Minnesota Vikings football games. WWE told Fightful that they view the US Bank Stadium as a world-class venue and have heard that they're getting more aggressive in non-Vikings related events in the huge stadium. There was a situation a few years ago where some involved with the city cost themselves a shot at WrestleMania by leaking that the show was going to be there, so it could be a case where they maybe nearly did it again. PW Insider reported this week that Tampa was also being considered for the Royal Rumble, but talent that Fightful have spoken to said that as of last week, when they asked where it would be at, they were told that information couldn't be provided just as of right now. Those that Fightful have spoken to say that Tampa has been a front runner for quite some time, so no real information on the Royal Rumble, but it could be in Tampa. As far as WrestleMania, it could be heading to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Very interesting, of course, because that's at least the build location of Brock Lesnar, where he started his career, so maybe that's where he'll end his career at WrestleMania next year. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.